Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Virgo in December 2020. What is going on, Virgo? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Virgo, welcome to December, end of 2020. What's going on? How you feeling about it? Hopefully, wherever you are in the world right now, Virgo, you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Continue to take very good care of yourselves and those that you know and love, because even though 2020 is wrapping up, all the crap that we've experienced in this year is probably not going to be wrapped up by the end of the month, right? So again, take care of yourselves. The holidays are coming up, so Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice if you do something with that, Happy Kwanzaa if that's your gig, whatever you're doing. Please make very good choices for yourself and other people. My best friend recently was diagnosed with COVID-19, and they have taken all the precautions, and they were super, super safe. They just happened to come into contact for a brief period of time with people who were not so cautious during this time, and now, hopefully things for them do not take a turn for the worse. But I say that to very much emphasize how serious this pandemic is, how very real it is. And I hope that you and yours take very good care of yourselves and make the right choices, make good choices, okay? All right, Virgo, let's go ahead and get into the regular opening. And again, happy holidays to all of you. If you're getting together with friends and family, please, please, please be careful, all right? Now, anything you need from me, Virgo, it is already in the description box. If you're looking for the timestamp, it is down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me is down there, as well as as well as the link to my Instagram if you want to follow me over there on that platform. I'm not using it as much as I used to. I'm really bad at it. But if you want to support me over there, feel free to follow the link, okay? All right, Virgo, let's get into it. I want to see the outcome for Virgo in December 2020. Outcome for Virgo in December 2020. Please show me. All right. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Yikes. There we go. This goes down here. You only had the one card come face down, so let's go ahead and see what's popping there. Interesante. Translation, interesting. All right, guys, let's get into it. Please show me where Virgo is in December 2020. Where is Virgo in December 2020? Please show me. Please show me clearly. Where is Virgo? All right, there we go. All right, guys, coming in to the reading. Oh, I almost knocked that off. There we go. Coming into the reading, you start with the energy of the Strength card. Major Arcana for Leo. Could be dealing with a Leo, but you don't have to be. Virgo. Some of you, maybe, are being a little romantic with that rose in the mouth of the lion there. Maybe some of you are giving romantic gestures to those that you care for, or a particular person that you care for. I'm really getting like a lot of like like trying to like show someone a good time or give them a very thoughtful present, since the holidays are coming up in December, right? And trying to make an impression on someone with the gift giving. But that's very specific to the imagery there, to the illustration. Let's see what else there is for Virgo, please. And again, it's a general, so it can go the other way. If you're not planning to give anyone a gift, they might be planning to give you something of sentiment, of value, that's something that really knocks your socks off. Maybe. Congratulations. I don't know. But beyond this, it feels like self-control. A lot of self-control is needed in the situation. Because again, everything I said about giving a present and it being thoughtful and romantic and all that stuff, that's really about the illustration. The energy behind this card, the bigger message, is again, self-control. I feel a need to be in control of yourself, a need to watch what you say, watch what you do, mind your P's and Q's. And that might be a struggle for you or a struggle for someone else, because You know, a lion is a very ferocious animal. It's a very dangerous animal. It's a predator, right? And, you know, turn your back or catch yourself with your guard down, and a lion can literally kill you, right? Now, I feel hopefully you're not in like some life or death situation, but that might be sort of the level of anxiety or pressure that you're under, and that is the need for self-control. I feel some of you, how the lion is staring right back at the viewer, staring back at us. There could be you're in a, like you're locking eyes with possibly a predator or a dangerous person or somebody, for all intents and purposes, who could destroy you. Possibly for some of you. That's not for everybody, but that's possibly what's going on here. So you need to watch what you say, watch what you do, because this person or whomever you're facing could be very quote unquote deadly to you. Now, I hope to God, I mean, it's a tarot reading, so I'm pretty sure I'm not talking about literal life and death. But again, the way in which you might phrase it or other people might phrase it is sort of in that vein, that it's very do or die. It's very like, you know, one false step and the whole thing, the whole situation blows up in your face. One wrong step and this person, this predator person, whether it be you or someone else, and I'm using that word only because there's a lion there. I'm not sure that you're dealing with quote unquote an actual predator, like a human predator. That would be, that's beyond the scope of this reading, or at least as we start, okay? So I don't want it to be like, you know, you think you're dealing with like a serial killer or something. I hope not, you know, knock on wood, I hope not. But it's sort of, you have reason to worry, or you're giving people, if you're the strength card, or if you're the person who's quote unquote the predator, right? You're giving people reason to watch their P's and Q's. Now, what does that create? I gotta tell you, it creates a little bit of falseness. Ah, we're back to the presence. We're back to the presence, okay? There's a little sense of falseness there because, okay, and maybe falseness isn't the best word. There's a sense of survival. Yes, thank you. Is a little bit better, because if you literally were faced with a lion and you were afraid of getting mauled to death, you wouldn't exactly make sudden moves, or you wouldn't agitate the lion. You would try to placate the lion, right? You wouldn't want it to rush at you with its claws and its jaws and rip you to shreds. If you wanted to survive, if that is your goal, to live out this situation with a lion, let me placate the animal and not agitate the animal, right? So remember what I said at the beginning with the rose in the mouth, and it feels very romantic, and it feels like, you know, giving gifts and being really romantic, or being really ingratiating, or just like giving of yourself, or like trying to leave an impression on a person. That could be an act of survival, an act of preservation, okay? I don't know in what way, I don't know for what reason, because it's going to be different for all of you. But there is like a knowing sense of danger and a very conscious effort to avoid that danger, okay? So, like I said, holidays are coming. You're going to be possibly meeting up with friends and relatives that you haven't seen in a while, or it's that time of year where we're supposed to show how much we care for people. Okay, I don't like that. Very quickly, for like one or two of you Virgos. It's not for everybody. Don't take it on unless you know it's your story. You are dealing with a person or people that are not necessarily the nicest of people throughout the entire 12-month calendar. They're usually pretty bogus to you. They're pretty terrible to you, or you guys just don't really have a rapport to speak of. But when the holidays come along, to make an impression on you, or to make an impression for other people to see, somebody like pulls out all the stops, is buying gifts, is paying for dinners, is hosting the dinner parties, and is being really festive and really like, everybody come to my house, it's going to be big, it's going to be a great time, blah, 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 blah. But like 2 weeks ago, you guys were like at each other's throats and you couldn't stand each other. But during the holidays, it's like play nice, you know? So that's sort of what I'm getting for a few of you or one of you. And the deeper message behind that is that some of you, that's a narc move. Okay, that's a narcissistic move. Okay, that's a person who is puppeteering the situation, trying to manipulate the optics of the situation, how you and or other people perceive them is going to be altered because now I'm going to pull out all the stops. Could also, again, with the rose in the mouth of the lion, for some of you, if it's a romantic thing, it's a love bombing situation. So they may have been terrible to you yesterday, but come, tomorrow, or, maybe it'll wait all the way till Christmas or the first day of Hanukkah or whatever. And all of a sudden you got, a brand new carat diamond ring or something like that, or some fancy jewelry or some wonderful piece of electronics that in their mind makes up for misdeeds. Does that make sense? Okay, we got it. Now, there's different messages in there and there's different sides to that, because the other part that I was going to talk about that I think I didn't really expand on was the survival part, the placating the animal, right? The placating the dangerous beast that is the lion, right? So that could be you or someone else who knows they're in a perilous situation, knows that things are kind of risky or there's something to be lost here. So to cover tracks or to, again, preserve the self, something like that. Now I'm going to put forth this very caring energy. I'm going to mind how I speak. I'm going to mind how I move. I'm going to give gifts. I'm going to receive gifts. Like, that's the other thing. Oh my God, this is like layered. Because let's say it's almost like even if you're the quote unquote victim in the situation, I'm using that term so loosely, victim, heavy quotes, victim. If you're the victim in the situation and you have your perpetrator trying to make amends with you, there's a survival tactic from the victim's point of view is, let me be gracious. Let me accept this apology or these niceties. Let me accept them, because if I don't, it's going to lead to further transgressions. It's going to lead to further chaos. It's going to lead to further issues between me and this person. So let me smile. Let me say thank you. Let me show this gratitude, even though on the inside, I can't stand this. I hate that person. They hurt me. Blah, 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 blah. It's a whole shit show. That's a lot for just the first card. So let's go ahead and move on, because Virgo. Oh. Okay. Yes. Ooh. That makes sense. I'm like, the strength card isn't usually all of that by itself, but like I'm seeing stacking doors. What do I mean, stacking doors? Have you ever seen like an illustration or like a cartoon or a movie that when you open a door, behind that is another door, you open that next door and another door, another door, another door, like stacks of doors. Like there's a lot of levels to this, or a lot of entry points into this, or something like that. Like behind, like, okay. It's like when you open a door, let's say you open a door and you expect, when I open this door, I'm going to see the outside. It's the front door to a house. I'm leaving the house. When I open the door, I expect to see the outside. Nope. It's another door and you're somewhere else in the house. You know what I mean? It's like opening one door, you would think behind it, there's going to be this room, or there's going to be this exit. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be inside, whatever. And you open the door and it's not what you expect. That's what I'm seeing. All these doors that you keep opening, that keep being, the knob turns and someone pushes the door open. And there's something else in there that is not expected. There's a lot of layers of unexpected information or details that you and or other people are unaware of, or are trying to keep secret. Let's move on. So, Virgo, what else happens, please? Okay. A lot of hush. A lot of hush. That's exactly what I was just sensing. A lot of hush. Because this energy of the strength card, notice that also. A lion can't roar if it has to hold this rose in its mouth, right? So this creature which we normally expect to be loud, ferocious, excuse me, really vicious and scary, is made to look tame, controlled, and docile because there's a rose in its mouth and it can't roar. So there's something about like muzzling, keeping things quiet, not showing your intensity in order to get along with people or get people to treat you a certain way. This is very calculated, this strength energy. Now, that is further expressed because of this monumental is the word they're giving me, Empress. Monumental Empress energy. Very interesting using that word, monumental. Now, Empress is a secondary major for Taurus and Libra. Could be dealing with one of those signs or neither of them. It's a general, take it with a grain of salt. But I feel someone here is aware that there's something to lose if XYZ were to happen. If this leads to that, then game over, sort of. And that's a really big thing for the Empress energy to kind of carry with it. The Empress is one of the cards that signals abundance. It is often aligned with high feminine energy, or dare I say divine feminine energy, right? And I mentioned that earlier today. Who did I say that for? I said that for Taurus, I think. And this is their card, or one of their cards. So if you're dealing with a Taurus, it might be worth it to watch their video. But there is sort of like this, like this tree that we see was not planted yesterday. So there's a lot of longevity riding in this energy, or integral here. A lot of longevity, a lot of long investment, deep investment, yeah? And I used this word earlier when we were talking about the strength card, perilous. It feels like someone knows if something goes a certain way, it all comes crashing down. Oh, that's interesting. So look, again, this tree. Again, wasn't planted yesterday. To get a tree that size with a trunk that thick, it's going to take several years, right? But in reality, if that tree needed to be removed, it could be removed within a day due to natural disasters or the advancements of human technology. Like if suddenly there was a tree cutting that needed to happen, like if this was someone who says, hey, I need this tree cut down, can your company come and take care of it? Give you a quote, we'll be by tomorrow afternoon, and that thing will be gone. Right? So, there's something in this dynamic, in your storyline, Virgo, that talks about deep roots to something, and that's been cultivated over time, and someone is very protective of that Empress energy, that divine feminine energy, or that just high feminine energy of protecting, nurturing, securing, and cultivating and creating abundance and sustaining that abundance, and how that could easily be chopped down quickly within a day or two. That is like someone's fear, concern, worry. And what were we talking about a moment ago? How maybe, that's the biggest fear of a a narcissist. I'm not an expert on it. I'm not a clinician. I'm not someone who studies it. But what I've read, what I've studied, what I've heard on my own, it's all so, it's like without the correct hookup, without the correct connections, a narcissist has nothing, right? A narcissist cannot survive on their own. That's not how they live. That's not what they want. They don't desire to be by themselves. They cannot sustain that. That's not how they get what they feel is their abundance. And it's interesting, I'm saying narcissist when we're talking about the Empress card. I don't think I've ever heard myself or any other reader associate those energies or those words with each other, but I kind of feel that's here. Are some of you dealing with a feminine narc? a high feminine narcissist. Now, when I say feminine, I'm not saying female. Could be a male. Could be a non-gendered person. It doesn't really matter. But their energy is that of feminine, which is to cultivate. You know, if I have a plot of land, I'm going to take care of my plot of land. And I want my plot of land to always be abundant and always to be full and always to be, you know, it's in my purview. It's mine. I possess it. Like, okay, this energy, because I'm saying mine, narcissistic, right? I feel this person, this energy is super possessive of you, of other people, of the situation. This could be you, Virgo, by the way, you know. If you are this person, own it. And there's a great fear at that being taken away. And that's the sentiment, that's the feeling. It wouldn't be because of what happened, because of the choices this person made. I feel that the Empress and the Strength card are related, so they might represent the same person. And if they do, this person is so fearful that everything they've done could be taken away from them. There's this possessive attitude or mindset. I've worked for this, I've cultivated this, I've created this, I've nurtured this. I've done. A lot of I statements, a lot of what I've done, what I've created, what I've put into the situation. And there's this feeling of it could be taken away. And I'm not going to let people take it away from me, is how this feels. Okay. And the natural inclination might be to be very ferocious, to be very bombastic, to be very volatile or very, because again, with the rose in the mouth, very verbal, very expressive of, like, you know, sort of put up a fight. But I feel there's a tactic being employed here to not put up a fight, which is different than what this person might normally do, which is interesting. Now, again, that's why I'm not a professional, or I would never claim to be, because I'm clearly not. I'm not sure that those adaptable qualities that I just mentioned, of how normally someone might want to rant and rave about something, but instead they're keeping quiet, or, you know, that change of tactic. I don't know if that's possible with actual diagnosed narcissists or people who show narcissistic tendencies. I'm not sure. But that's what it feels like. It feels like someone is adapting to, oh, I see that if I do it this way, I might lose what I've created. So let me switch up a little bit. And that switch could be temporary. Okay, so don't take it as if, like, this person is, you know, has a whole brand new personality. No. It's still for the sake of preservation. It's still for the sake of, I don't want my tree chopped down. I don't want to be uprooted. Interesting. I don't want to be uprooted from the ground in which I've laid my seed. Wow, very interesting. I don't want to be uprooted from the ground in which I've laid my seed. As somebody who loves words, that can be reinterpreted at least 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to go into it, but that was the phrase. If that means something to you, if it hits your ear in a certain type of way, run with it. Okay? You use your own interpretation, your own intuition about that. Now, what else happens? Because this is, oh, Lord. You know, I gotta be honest. The Empress, God, it's gonna be so strange to say this. I have some sympathy for this energy because it's fear-based. It's very fearful. It's very unsure of what could happen if things were to change. And because change possibly has always happened when this person has said so, when this person has been ready for it, when this person has initiated it, now that the change is possibly not on their terms, not when they want, not how they want, they don't know how to recoup. They're not prepared. They don't know how to handle the situation if it's out of their control. So maybe it's not about narcissism in some of your cases. Maybe it is about control. Because the Empress, in theory, can run a low vibe, high vibe, mid vibe, all those things that I sometimes talk about. In a low vibe, the Empress would be super controlling. Smothering, perhaps. Okay? And again, feminine energy, high feminine quality. We could be talking about a mother in your life, a mother figure, if not your actual mother. And that is something that happens. I presume I'm not a mother myself, but I have one. And there are times where I'm just like, back up, lady. You know? So let's see what else happens for you guys in this situation. What else is happening for Virgo? Please show me. Okay. So yes. Virgo, if this is a story where you're the mom, or this is about your mother, or there's some parent to child relationship, it doesn't have to be, with specifically the mother. It could be the father figure. It doesn't matter. If there's some dependent energy, it might be, I don't want to say it's codependent, but it's not the healthiest. I'm going to say that because I feel that someone is not balanced. One person or everyone who's involved is not balanced, and it's insular. It's very, remember I said about opening the doors, and like behind each door there's just another door, and maybe you just want to go outside, you want to leave the actual indoor space, but every door you open is more entryways into another room, right? There's like this inescapable energy smothering that's happening in this story somewhere. And that, again, is fear-based in some form or fashion. And it's coming through because I feel someone doesn't have emotional satisfaction on their own or within the situation. And, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, I got to remember this. Damn it. Someone doesn't have emotional satisfaction within the situation. I got to remember that because we're going to talk about that. Now, more to the point, because that imagery was related to the Mother of Wands. So we're going to talk about it in a moment. But for now, Four of Cups, not emotionally satisfied within or without the situation. And I feel, since this is a 4, it would be speaking to foundations or balance, okay? So someone, through no fault of their own, might have an emotional imbalance or an emotional disorder. Why can't I talk? Disorder. Thank you. That is not an excuse. It's not to say because someone might be suffering through something that it makes their actions and their behaviors excusable. It does not. I just like to know the rhymes and the reasons of things. Like, I don't know about you, but if I know that someone has a certain condition or disorder, it allows me to put a certain perspective on things and to take things differently. That's just me. You might not feel the same way, but that's kind of what I'm sensing here, is like, through no fault of this person, they might just naturally be wired to behave or to react to things a certain way. And I'm getting, again, this idea of preservation, or why can't I talk today? Is it you or the person that you're dealing with who they're like, they stumble over their words, they might stutter? I'm not stuttering, but they might have some kind of verbal impairment or something. But I get this idea of preservation because what do we see? A rat, and its body is overtaking, or is mostly over 3 cups, right? So there's like this protective hoarding energy that I'm getting. Some of you might be dealing with a hoarder. Can you hoard things emotionally? Can you be an emotional hoarder? Probably. That's something I'd have to explore in my downtime. Emotional hoarding, is that a thing? That's interesting. Anyway, so I get the sense like they're very protective of themselves, very protective of their emotions, possibly protective of the emotions or the relationships they have with other people, right? And this is a well-guarded person. Like, possibly 4 of Cups, they don't have much. That would play to a narcissist. I'm sure there are varying degrees and types and severities of narcissistic diagnoses. So maybe for some of them, their emotional capacity is a little bit wider or more expansive than the next person who might have a similar diagnosis. But whatever they have, whatever they're capable of experiencing, whatever they have possibly related back to the Empress that they've cultivated for themselves thus far in their life, they have a great fear, this is so sad, of losing it. There's something about the Four of Cups, which is longing in the traditional understanding of this card, the interpretation of this card. There's an innate longing or desire for more, or there's this feeling of there's something missing, something missing, something missing. And there could be this knowledge that I'm not really satisfied in the situation, I'm not really satisfied outside of the situation, and there's something missing. But there is such a fear that if I pursue and seek satisfaction elsewhere, or I try to enhance what I have, I could actually end up losing. It's like someone here, not in the sense of like money and casinos or something, but somebody here does not like to gamble because they don't have much already. And if they gamble, there's a fear that I'll lose what I already have, right? And again, this idea of cultivating, I made it. I've ensured this for myself. I've planted those seeds in that ground a long time ago. And the reality is, a lone tree like that, the Empress standing wherever it's standing, if some other person, if some company, if some property owner says, I don't want that tree standing in the middle of my yard, I have the power to take it down. And this person, someone here knows that maybe they're walking on thin ice in a situation. They're walking on thin ice with other people. Like literally, it could be a family situation, a friendship situation where someone knows if I do too much, say too much, or whatever, I might be literally chopped out of the situation, cut down out of the situation. And that again, I might be giving a little more credit to potential narcissists than they deserve. Again, that's why I'm not a clinician. I'm not that type of professional. But I feel even if someone has those tendencies, or they're showing up in your life, or you're labeling them, or other people are labeling them as a narcissist, I feel that if they're not, so severe, it really is coming from this place of knowing this is all I have, these people in my life. Whether they mean to be whether they mean to be volatile, whether they mean to be hurtful, whether they mean to be or not, that's not really what I'm sensing here. No narcissist, like I said before, can survive on their own. So it's like the more I show of myself, the more I take these risks or these gambles, or the more people come closer to possibly knowing that I'm in this vulnerable or this emotionally insecure, vulnerable place with the Four of Cups. I want more, but I can't have more. It's like someone here is really, 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 honestly, emotionally and or mentally unwell. Okay? And I feel this person feels like they're stuck like a tree in the ground, because trees are immobile, right? They can't move. If they continue as they are, they're going to push people away further, because I feel whoever is in this energy, Virgo, they know the jig is up. Like they know they're getting red. Like people are seeing them for their not so nice ways. So if I continue to be how I've been, again, flower in the mouth of the lion, very loud, boisterous, rawr, rawr, doing all that stuff, then I'm just going to drive people away further. And I don't want that. I need the human supply. I need the supply of other people, right? What is that called? Narcissistic supply, right? But if I confront my issues and go, explore this potential defect that I have, I could also lose. It's like a lose-lose this person feels they're in. That's where me, the outside person, the empathic person in the situation, can understand a little bit where this person is coming from. If I continue to be the POS that I am, or the POS that people perceive me to be, I'm going to get caught out. Or people are just going to finally get fed up with me and they're going to leave me. If I explore my issues, if I try to understand a little bit of why I do the things I do, and bring healing to a situation where I'm absolutely unwell, people might turn their back on me anyway. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to excuse anything. Please understand. I'm not trying to excuse anything. I'm just able to connect with this person's mental space or their emotional space. So these little 4 cups that the rat is sitting on top of, they want more. But like if the rat literally went and saw like, oh, there's some other cups that I could drag over here to put with my 4. If the rat leaves, gets up off of those 4 cups, who's to say that when the rat comes back dragging the next cup along, that another something else or some other person wouldn't have come along and snatched one of those cups away from them? Like, it's very, it's protective, it's possibly territorial, it's really toxic in a certain type of way. I wish I could articulate it better, but, we simply don't have the time, and I don't necessarily have the language for it. But I feel someone is very aware that they're on thin ice, that their sort of quote unquote days are numbered, right? And there's just a lot of protective energy here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the Mother of Wands. Mother of Wands, aka Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now, what was I saying before? Oh shit. Emotional satisfaction within the situation. Got it. So, within the situation, what do we see here? This snake wrapped up around these eggs, presumably incubating the eggs, right? Isn't that how reptiles get their eggs to hatch? They have to incubate them in some type of way, keep them warm, right? Same as birds, right? So again, there's that nesting attitude. There's that protective slant or leaning in the story that we were talking about, Virgo. But the thing that was in my mind visually as I initiated with the 4 of Cups was that sometimes snakes, from what I remember in like high school biology and like nature films and stuff that they would show us in school, is that a snake can eat its own tail, right? Like in an effort to defend itself, defend its young, defend its nest, it could perceive its own body, its own tail as an enemy or something like that. Don't quote me, not a biologist, not a zoologist, not any type of ist. I am no scientist of any type. But from what I remember, that is a possibility. That is a possible trait of some snakes, right? That they can eat themselves in their effort to protect. Or if they're not protecting, are they hungry? I forget the reason, but that's the image that I got. And what was I just talking about? This person sort of being caught between a rock and a hard place. I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. Because I think, regardless of gender or zodiac or anything, this Mother of Wands energy, this Queen of Wands energy, backs up and feeds itself, lends itself rather, to each of these other cards. And what were we talking about? So the Mother of Wands on a strategic level would put the rose in the lion's mouth in order to keep the lion's mouth shut because it doesn't want to scare away the prey, right? That's the other thing about a lion. No, oh my God, the visuals that come through. So remember I told you, face to face with a lion, if you're looking to survive, you better not make any sudden moves in order to make yourself even more visible prey to this predatory animal. Now, when a lion hunts, they do that too. They lie low in the bushes, they try to remain quiet, and they come out real slow, and then they pounce really quickly. There's like a skill to the hunt, right? You don't make yourself known because the prey could get away. So anyway, so this person, tactful, calculated, is aware, is trying to keep a handle on themselves and the situation and the people involved, right? This person in that incubating motion, wrapping around the eggs, is setting up shop, is creating roots, is creating a nest. Empress energy. Empress, that's that high feminine vibe of cultivating and creating abundance, safety, nurturing, all that kind of stuff. Again, mommy vibes. Not saying you are a mother or this is your mother, but there's someone with that leaning, that energy marker in them. I'm doing this for the betterment of everyone. Oh, Lord. I don't like that. Listen. Fun fact about Jay. Listen, it flashed so fucking fast across my brain, and I hate it. Okay, listen. Fun fact about me, Virgo. We're going to be friends now for like 2 seconds. I have a strange fear of the 1970s. The entire decade. Like, I appreciate lots of it. A lot of things cool happened, okay? I'm sure. But it was very crazy. It was a crazy time, 1970s. And one of my biggest fears is because at that time, and I could be wrong, but from where I'm standing, my optics, there was a lot of crazy people going on. There was a lot of cults. There was a lot of religious cults. There was a lot of, it was just crazy shit. And what flashed in front of my eyes was, I hate it. I hate it so much, but I'm also fascinated by it. Jonestown. Oh, I hate it. Anyway, I'm doing it for the good of the group. I don't know about you, friends, but that sort of was the vibe of Jim Jones and the demise of Jonestown. For the betterment of all of us, we all should have a part of that Kool-Aid. And I say, as an onlooker, what? Somebody who didn't live... What? Literally, you all need to drink that drink because it's better for the group. Excuse me? What? I hate it. And I hope... Let's get back to the reading. It might not mean anything to you, but these are like the ways in which my guides talk to me. There's something like that there, where even if it absolutely is not good for the group, someone is convinced that it is. They have their own personal from where they sit, from where they stand, this is the only way. He was saying things like that to those people. Listen. No, I don't like that. I hate it. Move me out of that, please. I don't want that anymore, please. Thank you. I don't want that. Stop it. Okay. So, from where this person sits, what they suggest, the rhyme and the reason. Hold on. Their rhyme, their reason makes sense to them, even if it hurts them and those that they know and love. Again, snake eating its own tail, right? Jim Jones really thought he was doing some shit. Really thought he was leading people to salvation. He did not, but that was what he was saying. Up until the very end. He was saying that shit. Anyway, not cool. Just, listen. It's not for everybody. But some of you are dealing with a very disturbed person. That's it. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's the facts. Some of you are dealing with a very mentally and or emotionally disturbed person. Period. Paragraph, as my mother likes to say. Now, how the Mother of Wands feeds into or lends itself to the Four of Cups is, again, that protective energy. And that knowing vulnerability is at the center of this. Because what's in the center of the Mother of Wands? All those eggs. They can't defend themselves. I'm sure there are many animals in the animal kingdom that would love a piece of a snake's eggs. That's a tasty treat for like a bird or what? Like a crocodile? I don't know what eats. Or humans. Humans eat snake eggs. Some cultures. So this snake knows what's at the center here is vulnerable. Whether that be other people in relationships, whether that be their own sense of self or their own emotional well-being, whatever. Something needs to be protected. Four of Cups. Something needs to be protected. Again, the rat straddles along the tops of those 4 cups. So if the snake or the rat were to move away from the cups, from the eggs, it's fair game. People could discover what's going on with my emotional truth. People could discover or take advantage of the relationships that are very vulnerable around me. My relationship with my parents, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my friends, my relationship with my lovers, whatever. It's no entry. Someone here not interested in allowing things to transpire in a way that they did not co-sign on, that they did not create or influence. Oh, what a mess. This is a mess. What else happens? Jesus Christ. Okay, so out of your 6 cards, you have 4 major arcana. You have a very cosmically influenced reading, Virgo. And I gotta tell you, I feel many of you Virgos, you're dealing with someone who's like this. It's not you, it's someone you're dealing with. And I feel you're mostly over here. You're in one of these places or you're in both. Yes. Hangman. Major arcana or second, God, I can't even talk. Secondary major for Pisces. You could be dealing with a Pisces, but you don't have to be. So Hangman, I feel for you guys, if this is a close relationship in your life, a family member, a friend, a lover, what have you, I don't care how long you've known the person, I don't care, you feel caught up. You're in a very tough position, Virgo, because I feel there's a bit of loyalty here across this line. There's like sense of loyalty, of duty, of expectation to a certain extent. And that puts you in a very uncomfortable position, Hangman, because something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. God, I don't want to go back there. Stop that. They really want me to talk about Jonestown, and I don't want to talk about it because I hate it. But, and it's not relative to many of your stories. Like, the vast majority of you are like, I don't give a shit about Jonestown, as you should. I mean, it's an interesting part of history, but whatever. But there's something here about, like, possible apprehension to call someone out. Like, I've mentioned this word throughout the reading, narcissist. That is a loaded word at this time. It carries a lot of weight with it. It possibly is overplayed in some circles, in some people's estimation. Mine, sometimes. I feel it's overplayed. But there is something about it that possibly rings true to your specific circumstances. But again, I'm not a doctor, and I would never even if I was, I would never try to diagnose in a format like this because it's unethical, and it's impossible. But you might be dealing with your own or someone else's awareness of that. But to call it out, to speak about it, not the move. Someone feels, not the move. Hangman, it's a point of inaction. It's a place where we go when it comes out in tarot, where what we say, what we do, mute. No movement, no speaking. Personal or private contemplation, yes. Reflection, yes. But actual actions taken, words spoken, no. So internally, you might be looking at a relative of yours going, they are X, Y, and Z. You might have the ability to diagnose, or you just, you play a doctor on TV, something like that. You're looking at this person going, you are doing blah, blah, blah. That means you're this, that means that, da, da, da. And you're connecting those dots. But are you expressing that to this person or anyone else in this situation? No. And I think that serves in the moment, because also what happens with the Hangman is we receive revelations, or some type of widening of perspective happens sometimes with the Hangman. So maybe for the first time in your entire life that you've grown up and lived with people, that you've had long-standing relationships with friends or partners or what have you, and maybe for the first time you're using the N-word. Oh, not that N-word, the other N-word, narcissist, okay? Sorry. Anyway, but for the first time you're using that word, right? And it never dawned on you before. It never rang true for you before, but it is ringing true now, because you're seeing signs and behaviors that are kind of falling in line with that broad definition that many of us are aware of at the moment, right? And it's blowing your mind because you never thought of yourself as being, again, to use this word in heavy quotations, a victim of a narcissist. You don't see yourself that way. Or you don't see yourself as making, quote unquote, victims of the people that you're being narcissistic towards. I don't know many narcs who watch tarot readings, but it's possible. So there's not much to do other than to come to a realization point with the Hangman energy. Quiet revelations to the self, aha moments for the self, epiphanies for the self. What you do with that information, that's your choice. That's up for you to determine and discern and make moves with. But I feel you also might be in this energy, or whoever is not in those 4 cards is also here in the Judgment card as well as the Hangman. Judgment is secondary major for Scorpio. You might be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. And this person, or this energy rather, I mean, wow. I'm really getting like, the imagery is like huge on release. It's sad. It's really sad. I gotta tell you. Because again, I'm being drawn back to this person over here having the notion, having the suspicion that I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. If I keep behaving the way I've always been, people are going to call me out and people are going to be run for the hills. If I express how I really am, if I express and show up and allow my vulnerabilities to be seen, people are still going to run for the hills. This person is in like a tough spot, and I feel that's sort of here too. Like, for an example, let's say it wasn't narcissism, right? Let's say this was something to do with like an addiction, just to throw it out there, because I feel addiction and personality defects, they're not the same, but they require a lot of work to overcome them, okay? So let's say this person had an addiction of some type, and they're damned if they continue down the road with the addiction, or they face another type of struggle if they try to overcome that addiction. Either way you slice it, someone external to that person's experience is basically saying, good luck. Good luck with that. Not in like a dismissive way, but literally good luck. Because what I'm feeling here is, I don't even know if that song applies. There's that song by Fleetwood Mac, and the song the chorus just played in my head. You can go your own way, go your own way. I don't even really, like, I've heard that song more times than I probably am aware of, but I don't really know the lyrics, but that chorus came along. You can go your own way, go your own way, you know? And judgment, in my eyes, if we think about it from the biblical overtone, you're always judged as an individual. You know, in the traditional depiction of this card, you'll see a man and a woman and a child coming out of the graves, coming out of the ground, right, where they were buried, to be raptured, to be judged on Judgment Day. Each of those individuals, man, woman, child, even though they're a unit on earth, how they are perceived and how they are judged by, you know, the Lord above, if you believe in that, is as individuals. So why am I saying this? And again, relating it to that chorus of go your own way. Even though these two people, or these however many people, are interconnected and working as a unit, family, friends, whatever it is, right? You cannot, again, with the idea of addiction, you can't carry that burden for someone else, Virgo. You can't complete somebody's rehabilitation for them. You know that. I don't need to tell you that. You know that. But in order for that person possibly to see the greatest success or to really take it seriously, you might have to release to some extent from your connection. That is very broad what I'm feeling. It's not necessarily specifically what you should do, but there is sort of this releasing a little bit, if not the entire thing. Because as much as we want to ascend with our loved ones to the heavens above, if you believe in all that, let's say the man and the woman in the situation, because I feel biblically children automatically go up. I think that's the rules, right? But let's say the man and the woman, they both tried their best to be good parents or good people in the situation. But as individuals, we don't know what the other person is struggling with, what the other person has held in their heart, what the other person has done, you know, in the darkness of night. You might assume, oh my God, here we go, back to it. you might assume that you are working with, married to, committed to, related to one of the best people on earth. But go ahead and turn on, go ahead and Google some Dateline, NBC, storyline, some 2020, some Snapped, some of those crazy stories where people literally, and again, this is related to that I'm scared of the 70s shit, people literally have been married to serial killers. And they didn't know. You share a home, you share a bed with a person that in the dead of night is out there hacking up people's bodies. Like, listen, I'm not saying that's what's going on. God forbid. But it's sort of that thing. You expect we're going to be judged the same. We're going to go the same way. Nope. Go your own way. You were out there chopping up young ladies' bodies. You're not going where I'm going, sir. Or madam. Or whoever. You understand? So, Jesus Christ. What is this reading? And if that is a revelation, if that is being illuminated to you in the judgment, and listen, not literally that they're a serial killer, for God's sakes, I hope that's not true. But if you're realizing that somebody has their own quote unquote sins or struggles or issues to deal with, issues of narcissism, whatever, you can't heal them. You can't do that work for them. You go your own way. They go their way. And that is not always easy for people to deal with. What is the outcome? This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous in the sense of like, I see it clearly, but I also see and feel that you and or other people struggle to come to this. You and this person, or one of you, struggles to come to that decision, to come to that point of truth. We are not... Listen, friend. Listen. Good old Jim Jones back in my brain. He told hundreds of people to end their lives, and the vast majority of them did it willingly. What? We ain't all gonna be judged the same here, Jim. But that's what he did. Listen. I don't like this. Stop it. Because I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyway. I think I'm being hyperbolic in some of the language or the imagery that keeps coming to me. I really hope to God that you guys are not in cults. You're not dating or married to serial killers or whatever. But it's that type of inculcation. Ooh, big old college word. Inculcation that's going on in your life or in a particular relationship. There's an embedded nature or element to this relationship. It's not healthy because it does not respect the individuals. What is the outcome? I want to be done with this. No offense to you, Virgo. This is a very deep reading. I like it because I love doing readings like this. I think it's sort of my niche because, I don't know about you, but a lot of other readers, they don't read shit like this. But anyway, I don't like it because it's not either you or the other person is not releasing. And that's what needs to happen. For the betterment of each person, each individual, you go your own way. Doesn't mean forever. Doesn't mean, chuck a deuce on somebody and turn your back on them and act like they never existed in your life. No. You can release with compassion and love. That is possible. I've done it myself. Ask me for tips. I'll give you some. Now, what is the outcome here? Father of Pentacles. Good. I like that. Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This could be you or someone else that you're dealing with, but Virgo, this is balanced. This is stable. This is secure. This is steady. I don't want to say this word, but I'm going to throw it out there. Healthy. That might not happen immediately. It's pentacles, so it's growing. It's not overnight. It's not overnight. Not at all. Not at all. I'm seeing like caretaker, That's a dicey word. I don't like saying that word. Overseer. I don't like that word. Anyway, there's something like, oh, Lord. Is this like, possibly someone has to be put into care? I don't care who they are. I don't care how old they are. I don't care what walk of life they come from. There is sort of like this, because this buck, his antlers are upholding or holding up that pentacle, holding it steady or holding it stable. It's falling on his shoulders, his head. And I'm saying he because it's a father. It doesn't have to be a male, but it falls on this person. The burden, the responsibility is taken onto this person's shoulders. Now, what I'm sensing from that, again, is like going into care, going into someone else's care. If we're talking about addictions, if we're talking about something to do with wellness, that might happen. Listen, in my family, we got some family stuff, or it according to legend, in my family, there was someone who was put into care for a minute, to take care of their mental, to take care of their emotional. Literally had to go sign documents and be like, this person can't take care of themselves. This person is struggling with XYZ. Let them put them in your care. It's something like that. That can be bittersweet, is what this feels like. It might be the last effort. Like, this is the last chance. This is the only way. We've tried everything else. So let's turn it over to the professionals. Let's turn it over to this facility. Let's turn it over to, in some cases, the courts. That's not for everybody, the courts. That's very low in this energy, court. But for some of you, it's very professional. It's very medical. It's very, we've tried it at home to sort this out. We've tried for several years or months or whatever to get to a resolution. We can't do it on our own. As a family unit, as a couple, as a business partnership, whatever. Someone here has to intervene for the sake of the wellness of one person or the group. This Father of Pentacles, as an individual, external from the situation most likely, is very capable, super professional, comes with credentials and all this other kind of stuff. And I think knows, again, not overnight, Pentacles grows over time, has to be invested in properly in order to get the right results. Okay? So this person, if they're a medical professional or a behavioral health professional, whatever, they're not going to blow smoke. All right, so you want to face your addictions or you want to deal with your personality defects. Okay, well, we're talking about 2 to 3 years worth of work. You ready? Like, they might tell you that straight up. This is not going to happen. You're not going to see a fix for this in 6 months. This is 2 to 3 years of your life that we're going to have to work on this. Or, you might take it as, oh, they're blowing smoke or they're just trying to get more money out of me. No, baby. That's what it takes to get the result. To get the balance and the stability and the healthful, restorative energies in your life or this situation or this relationship. That's what's necessary. What is the overall energy here? 3 of fucking Pentacles right behind it. Do the work. You or whoever else. Do the work if you want. You don't have to, but that's advisable. Overall energy, Emperor. Hello. So he's not, this energy, Major Arcana Emperor is for Aries. Not a part of your main spread, but it is a distant, because it's, over here as the overall, a distant pair to the Empress. So mother dynamic, father dynamic, potentially. Some of you could have a lot of influence from your father or masculine energies or entities or people in your life. And look, another tree. Another tree. Just as concerned with the Empress as with standing tall and not being chopped down. However, I feel this Emperor energy, I'm getting like default, default, default. Whatever that word means to you, default. Okay. It could be defaulting to the masculine dynamics or archetypes, meaning combativeness. Remember I told you earlier the strength card could be more ferocious if it didn't have that, if the lion didn't have that rose in its mouth. Remember I told you that the snake could eat itself, or in seeking to protect its eggs could end up hurting itself or putting itself in harm's way. There's a lot of aggression that is possible, but is being held at bay, right? And that could be sort of what is happening here, is that there might have been, previous to now, a lot of masculine energy in your situation, a lot of volatile energy, a lot of action-oriented energy that, for good or for worse, was really driving the car, so to speak, driving the horses, so to speak, right? And I feel this Emperor energy was the default. Emperor, masculine energy, if this is a family dynamic that we're talking about, or a long historical situation in your life, isn't really about exploration, isn't really about those intuitive or compassionate leanings that the Empress can have. Oh, wow. Got it. Finally got it. What this could be, just as a specific energy, because they're related because they are a pair, but they're a distant pair. I said that, right? So what I'm sensing is, just as an example, it's just an example, does not have to be, but this is how it makes sense to me. If this was your mother currently, this is her father. Make sense? So they're related, they're a pair, right? But there's distance between them, a generational distance, right? So the influence on the Empress could have come from their father or some strong masculine energy in their life, which, for lack of a better word, was a little bit of a corruption, or influenced what you see here today, is basically how that feels, okay? And I'm just going to end it with this because we could go on and on and on, and we're not going to do that. It could also signal genetic dispositions, okay? I'm not, again, I'm going to say it one more time, not a scientist, not a clinician, not a doctor of any type. But from what I know, from what I've read, from what I've listened to, or from what I've observed, sometimes there is a genetic predisposition to certain disorders that if, generations past, they were dealing with it, it could be present in current generations. Does that make sense? I'm going to leave it at that. Leo, not Leo. Sorry, I would look down at the strength card. Virgo, that is your reading. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you have not subscribed, friends, please consider subscribing. That'd be super cool, wouldn't it? I will not run it like Jonestown. I'm going to give you that promise, okay? Virgo, that is your reading. I will be back very soon to do your mid-December readings. Until then, I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.